I'll be honest, I think I got caught slacking when it comes to this Project Veritas issue, mostly because, well, there were things that I was more concerned with at the time when it was really popping, but it kind of seems like it came to an amicable solution. It's almost like there were some subversive elements within a conservative media company, stop me if you've heard this one before, trying to foist out its most popular figure and then replace it in order to placate to an audience that wouldn't like their content to begin with. Weird, I know it's a novel concept, but at least it looked like it backfired in this situation. So Project Veritas director releases a statement about James Okeefe. From what I've seen, he's sticking around, at least for the time being. Mostly because without James Okeefe, what is Project Veritas? Well, let's peek this memo, if you will. The executive director of Project Veritas issued a statement Wednesday after it was reported that founder James Okeefe was placed on paid leave, sparking some donors to issue a cease and desist letter. Daniel Strack, the director, issued a statement via Project Veritas's Twitter account that said Okeefe had not been removed from his position. Strack said that the claims Okeefe, who founded Project Veritas more than a decade ago, was removed from the nonprofit, were false. I know what this all stems from, and I covered it at the time, and I know a lot of people's channels ended up getting yeeted from it, but I don't think I played any video on it, so maybe that's why mine ended up staying alive. It certainly has nothing to do with me being in YouTube's good graces. Yo, man, I've had to dig this stuff right out the dirt. I've got the strikes, suspensions, and battle scars to prove it. You've been around for a minute, you know that there's been extended gaps, and you've been treated to some exclusive Rumble content a time or two. But that seems to be where all of this hinges, because that little fruity dude decided to lawyer up, and he's got the support of Pfizer, so the full enforcement of the judicial branch will be coming down on Project Veritas. So to put James Okeefe off to the side for a second, that's also why I wasn't exactly all that eager to hop on this subject like so many other people, and a whole bunch of shit at the time were all too willing to opine about, oh, James Okeefe got tossed out of Project Veritas. Why won't the people in my comment section stop bugging me about Eliza Blue? I just want to talk about important things like an overblown situation. Big shock that you just want to pivot onto that. About a few weeks ago, a number of our staff provided leadership with some verbal feedback describing real management concerns regarding the treatment of people and our internal process, his statement said. This prompted the board to solicit feedback from additional staff members. Oh, okay, imagine that. Ooh, this also kind of piggybacks on another topic that we've been talking about quite a bit as well. Sydney Watson and the Blaze. How wild. And if I could back up anything that I hear about Watson in this situation, because there's some spicy things coming out of Australia, and I'll have to be doing some deep dives on that stuff because, she's torpedoed a movement or two beforehand, but I can't prove it yet, so I don't want to put anything to paper quite yet on that, so stay tuned, or maybe you've already seen it depending on when this video comes out, but we should have it out soonish. I don't know, man. Anyways, yeah, James Okeefe runs a tight ship because he's working with delicate situations, some high-end individuals, exposing some really important stuff, some actually important stuff, not just like the impending civil war. The narrative that is being portrayed by referencing the letter is patently false. James has not been removed from Project Veritas. That's probably what a bunch of bad faith actors, the subversive types, low-level individuals within Project Veritas probably wanted him out because of that. Oh, it's just too powerful, and these are just leftist chameleons working their way into a conservative outlet trying to take down one of the prized trophies that are out there, because I've said it, a lot of other people have said it as well. Project Veritas is one of the few, if not the last, ground-level investigative journalistic outlets, and right at the front of that is James Okeefe. So if they can weasel their way into something that is wildly successful and kill it in the crib, well, hey, they're going to do it. That's why gatekeeping is so important. Don't just lose yourself in a pair of pretty eyes or some dyed purple hair or the big flumpy hat and the sundress. Strzok said that there were 16 Veritas employees who gave feedback. Oh, they went to management with complaints. But he stressed Okeefe is the hardest working person I've ever met. Those of whom know him well, that he will not take time off unless forced to. W work ethic. So yeah, he runs a tight ship. He expects everybody who's around him to subsequently run a similar practice. And if not, well, you just get berated. It's called tough love, and they don't teach you that on a university campus while you're acquiring your bachelor's in gender studies. While I do understand the timing of the situation alongside the biggest story in our organization's history is confusing and very easy to come up with conspiracy theories, I assure you that we are still in no way and will never be brought to you by Pfizer, he wrote. Nah, they'll just leave that for Sam Smith's weird Demon Grammys performance. I still cannot believe that they do that type of degenerative nonsense on television and then just have the audacity to run, and the Grammys is brought to you by Pfizer. If you couldn't encapsulate everything that's wrong with mass media in a more perfect clip, I have yet to see it. He wrote, referencing the recent Veritas expose involving a Pfizer executive. Nor do we have any political preference for any candidates running for office. No, they're just looking for truth. And then, oh, wow, we like to suss out different corruption that's happening across the country. And it always just seems to be running in one direction. Outside of the one thing that was happening in Texas, and that did involve a Republican. And guess what that ended up with? Charges being filed in Texas because Ken Paxton doesn't fuck around. Strzok said that he is committed to working with James and the Project Veritas team. According to the letter, James will be taking a few weeks of well-deserved paid time off, Strzok allegedly wrote Monday in the internal message that the Daily Beast said it obtained. Yo, this is all based on the Daily Beast. Outside of doing that one good Eliza Blue article, mostly because she was wrapping herself in all the right talking points, and the Daily Beast just hates anybody who's right of Stalin. Of course, they did good work in that avenue, but for the most part, like, Daily Beast is pretty much a trash tier establishment. You'd think Shane Cashman would have him on, or have them on his resume. Later on Wednesday, Project Veritas also wrote that James Okeefe is alive and well, and that there is nothing better than enjoying a well-deserved vacation. It was responding to a post made by Robert Kennedy Jr. Oh man, one of the most vocal anti-jab critics, and just a good man. One of the few good people with a Kennedy surname. Not too much of a meth head or an Oldsmobile aquatics enthusiast, who posted a photo of himself and Okeefe. Speculation about O'Keefe's future with the organization emerged over the past weekend following reports from the left-wing Daily Beast. Oh, thank God we finally got proper characterization on that. Shout out Epoch Times. And others, citing an internal memo from staffers that claimed he exhibited outright cruel behavior to staffers, like saying, you know, "Tuck in your shirt, shine your shoes, won't you take pride in your appearance?" Project Veritas and Okeefe have not publicly responded to those claims, probably because it's like, yeah, that's just so ludicrous. I don't even know where to begin on that. When reached out for comment Wednesday, O'Keefe's Project Veritas email account appeared to send an automated response out of the office. So yeah, out of office response until February 20th. So yeah, oh, he's getting a week off. Big ups. Last month, Project Veritas aired footage of a Pfizer employee, Dr. Jordan Walker. His middle name was Trishton. I didn't mushmouth that. It's literally Trishton or AN. It's Jordan with an O. I think it was Trishtan with an A. Regardless, he legitimately worked for Pfizer. His job position as Director of Research and Development is legitimate. He's been attached to different papers and publications from 2020, making some wildly un-YouTube friendly claims about jabs and viruses. So funny they can get away with it, but not anybody else. In order to develop new vaccines, Walker made the bombastic claims to an undercover Project Veritas employee and then had one of the gayest spurgouts that you will ever see online. If you can still find the video that's out there, there's some clips that still make the rounds on Twitter every once in a while. It's one of the sissiest freakouts I've ever seen in my life, and it makes me laugh every single time. One of the things we're exploring is, like, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we can preemptively develop new vaccines, right? Walker said in the clip. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, like, as you could imagine, nobody wants to be having a pharma company mutating goddamn viruses, right? Pfizer on January 28th issued this hasty response. It's like, no, we're not actually doing that. What we're doing is exactly what we're saying that we're not doing it, but we're calling it something different. In the ongoing development of the Pfizer jab, Pfizer has not conducted gain-of-function or directed evolution research. We're just doing gain of evolution or directed function research. Yo, man, they're just all big liars at the end of the day. But at least Project Veritas hasn't completely lost the plot at this point in time. Hopefully, everybody who's coming forward with those unfounded claims against the good name of James Okeefe, they just get summarily showed the door that they were trying to give to James Okeefe. Gatekeep your institutions. That's going to be the mantra for 2023. Bank on it. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.